Hey Mario, happy fight week. You told me you were going to learn some Spanish trash talk. Did this happen? Are you ready for that?
We were literally just talking about that right now. They told me if I learned Spanish, I would have to do media in English and in Spanish. So I was like, I'll hold back on the Spanish. But I don't know, maybe I'll say a little something at face-off.
Small building, have you guys ran into each other yet at all? I know you were expecting some intensity.
No, I asked the PI guys if he was staying there, and I guess not. So he got an Airbnb, doesn't want to run into me probably.
I don't know if you saw the video he posted, but he posted a video on the scale on Saturday, a week out from the fight, that he was 30 pounds over. Asked him about it in here. He said, yeah, it was true. It's been a hard cut, but we're good. Do you have to make that hard a cut? Is 30 pounds a week out normal for you? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I like to be pretty disciplined, and on top of that, that way I don't have any issues come fight week. Hopefully he makes the weight. If he doesn't, walk away with a little bit more extra money. So, either way.
He's been scheduled for 5 rounds. He's never gone 5 rounds before. You've never gone 5 rounds. Who does that lend an advantage to in this fight, the deep waters?
I think from what we've seen, I think it leans more towards me. He tends to kind of fade out a little bit. If I had an extra 2 rounds in my last fight, maybe it would have made a difference. But I think it plays more to me.
And then professionally, Vinicius has only lost by knockout. Do you look into that at all? Is that something you can exploit this weekend?
I'll definitely look for the finish. I think he's lost like 3 times by knockout. He's like live by the sword, die by the sword kind of guy. So definitely looking for that.
And then just with O'Malley and Song Yadong just going down, some other big bantamweight stuff in the works, what do you see next for you? Any specific name or timetable for return?
I'm completely focused on Vinicius right now, but, if everything goes good, I want to get back into the top 5. One I've always wanted for a while is that Sandhagen rematch. I lost my debut, and I, chased him all the way down to the very top. So I think that'd make a great story.
Were you surprised that the UFC cut Patchy mix?
A little bit. You lose 2 in a row. They have high expectations of you. But maybe I would have given him one more shot, especially if he did want to go to 145, which I don't know if that was the issue. But I would have gave him one more shot.
Gotcha. The bantamweight division is kind of like in a weird spot, right? Because Peter's out till July. Merab is probably going to get that next. Do you believe Merab deserves the automatic title shot?
Yeah, I think Merab definitely deserves it. He was a great champion. He fought whenever the company asked him to. He fought 4 times, like in a calendar year, all tough fights. So yeah, I think he deserves it.
What were your thoughts on Umar's fight with Figgy?
I think I jumped into the second round. What it looked like to me is like Figgy just didn't want to fight him. He just kind of kept running around, and then Umar would grab him and control him. Does what Umar does. But yeah, it was an okay fight.
And are you excited to be the first main event on the first Paramount Fight Night?
Yeah, definitely excited. I've been part of history before. I think me and Sandhagen were the first fight on ESPN Plus when that started. So another one in the books for me.
Good luck, man.
I asked Lerone Murphy this in Chicago. I asked him, and I ask you the same question. Like, neither one of you guys really talks too much in terms of like trash talk or outwardly go out of your way to post something kind of negative out there towards another fighter. I asked him if he thought that kind of cost him some opportunities in the UFC. I ask you the same thing. Do you think your lack of trash talk and bravado and all that have cost you any opportunities?
I wouldn't say so. I got that Umar fight. I got this main event spot. Coming off a loss too, could have helped out. Probably, it works for Vinicius, his style and the way he, carries himself. Has this spot at 4 fights. But the positive thing for me is like I gained a bunch of experience doing it the hard way, having all these fights. So no, I don't think so.
Yeah, and speaking of that, 8-fight win streak snapped with that loss to Umar and all that. How difficult was it to kind of process that loss? Did it take you a while? Or do you have any thoughts on how you got past that?
It was definitely tough. Like those first few weeks, I felt like I just, crapped the bed. I was upset, and then everyone would say that I did a great job. I went out there, I fought hard, actually fought him, and then if you compare that to what we just seen a couple weeks ago with Figgy, yeah, I went out there and I gave it my best. What made me realize I belong at the very top. Everyone thinks that Umar can be a champion and probably will be a champion, and I gave him a pretty tough fight.
Yeah, I know gold is the goal, but do you think maybe like a secondary goal is get that one back?
Yeah, and hopefully maybe he has the belt at that point.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you both for taking the time. Just to kind of follow up on that loss, we don't always get to talk to the person who didn't win on a fight, but with that reflection and saying that you took something away from it, was that, I know you had a crazy good win streak, 8 out of 9, but something that needed to happen maybe to bring something to light that you said, okay, we did need to adjust that. It's something I didn't give the attention I should have before, and now I did.
Yeah, you just, when you're on an 8-fight win streak, sometimes you don't want to make any changes, by camp, like why would I change anything if I'm winning? So if anything, it just gave me permission to kind of change things up in camp, be a little bit more disciplined, and get that 1% out of anything I do, whether in any martial arts that I do, in all my training, and I think that's what it takes to beat people at the very top.
Absolutely. And speaking of at the top, you're here on this main card, that 5-rounder. You're going up against a guy who's promising knockouts. Do you tweak it to where you think, okay, perfect, I'm going to use your strength against you, and we're for sure going to make this a 25-minute war, and I'm going to drag you into the deeper waters and drown you?
Yeah, no, I mean, if we can get that finish early on, like you said, use his strength against him. People have done that against him, and he's been knocked out before. And then if we do drag it out into a 5-round fight, like I said earlier, I think it plays more into my hand, because he expends a lot of energy in those first few rounds. So either way, I see myself getting my hand raised.
Absolutely. And last for me, you're not unfamiliar to Vegas. Did you get to use the PI at all? How was training acclimated in Vegas, or was it always back at home training camp and just the work was done over there?
Oh, no, most of the work was done in Phoenix. It's maybe an hour and 20-minute flight, so you're up in there and you're down here. So, but I do have it scheduled for me to go to the PI today, so gonna check it out.
Right on, man. Thank you, sir, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.